Hello everyone and welcome back to The Change-Up. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you love baseball. It's a wonderful game that, unless it's Shohei Ohtani, doesn't place as much importance on one single player like in football, and unless it's the Dodgers, is a lot harder to assemble a super team like in basketball. But it's also a game that has had its recent failure in terms of connecting with a younger audience. Despite Rob Manfred's best efforts of fixing this issue by blacking out half the games played, adding the Ghost Runner, and lots of other things nobody asked for, the issue still remains. In my opinion, one of the main reasons behind this is the wealth disparity in baseball. Now, speaking of the Dodgers, they have been in the headlines a lot these past couple of years for their free spending, as well as teams like the Yankees going back farther than that. People are always saying, rightfully so in some ways, that the Dodgers are ruining baseball by signing every big free agent. To me, though, what's really killing baseball is that not every team has an owner that cares. There will always be bigger and smaller market teams. That's even true in sports that have a salary cap. And while I do think that a cap or floor is becoming more and more of a necessity year after year, an equally big thing to me is that not every team has an owner that's concerned with winning. You can implement all the money regulations you want, but if your owner doesn't care, it won't affect much, other than essentially what the A's did this past offseason in signing Severino for no other reason than to basically have money spent to avoid penalty. All this is to say that I think the worst team for baseball right now is teams that have money but refuse to fully commit. Now, this could mean many teams. The Red Sox have been criticized in the past for not spending as much as they could, the Pirates never spend on anyone, and the Cubs are letting Tucker walk away right now without a fight, despite having the money to retain him. However, I don't think any other team quite encapsulates this more than the recent reports coming out about the San Francisco Giants and their unwillingness to meet the demands of Japanese pitcher Tatsuya Imai, instead focusing more on the mid-level starting pitching. Now, of course, these are just reports and should be taken as nothing more than rumor, but if that is the case, then this highlights the problem with teams like the Giants. To fully understand what makes this so frustrating, let's take a look at some of the money info. The San Francisco Giants as a franchise, according to Forbes, is worth about $4 billion, which is fifth in all of MLB behind the Cubs, the Red Sox, Dodgers, and Yankees. The Giants' owner, Charles Johnson with son Greg, are the sixth richest owners in baseball with a $5.5 billion net worth. San Francisco, as a market, is rated 8th by MLB's official market score with a score of 111, and that's with the caveat that they're no longer sharing the market with the A's, so it's more than likely higher than that now. Now let's take a look at the payroll. The Giants are 12th in baseball coming into 2026 with a payroll of about $139 million not counting tax, which sounds good enough until you realize that their estimated 2025 revenue was somewhere between $448 and $533 million. This means the Giants' ownership group spends more money than some franchises, but the amount relative to their revenue and market size is fairly low. And now we get to the point of the video. The Giants are an estimated $51 million away from the first luxury tax threshold, a threshold that they rarely ever cross despite having the money for it. Their biggest need remains starting pitching, as outside of Webb and Ray, it gets a bit dicey in their rotation. Luckily for them, they have some great options in the free agent market, such as Dylan. Alright. Luckily for them, they have some great options in the free agent market like Ranger Suarez, Framber Valdez, and Tatsuya Imai. Well, Ranger's a bit of a low ceiling guy, Valdez had the whole cross-up thing happen and is a little bit older, and Imai said he wants to meet Shohei Ohtani, presumably to sign with the Dodgers because every Japanese player does this, right? Oh wait, he said he wants to beat Shohei Ohtani. Yes, that's right. Imai stated that he wants to sign with a team that he feels can beat a team like the Dodgers, as this would be a great honor for him. Well, luckily, the Dodgers are the Giants' rival, one of the best rivalries in sports. He also stated that he wants to play on a team with no other Japanese players. Well, hey, lucky Giants again, they don't have any Japanese players on their team. This could be their chance to get their foot in a market that the rival Dodgers have practically cornered. This is great. I'm sorry, what does that say? The Giants aren't interested in pursuing Imai? Well, I mean, that's a national reporter. He probably doesn't know what he's talking about. Uh-oh. So, if I may recap, the Giants, aka the fifth most valuable franchise in the sport, with the sixth richest owner in the eighth biggest market who desperately need a starting pitcher, have been handed the first player in the Japanese market in what seems like years that not only doesn't want to play for the rival Dodgers, but wants to beat them, and the Giants don't sign him because they don't have enough money. This is baseball's biggest issue right now. Owners who have no actual interest in winning. Owners who sign just enough talent to sell tickets, but not enough to eat into their earnings. Will a salary cap or a salary floor be helpful to keep baseball fair? I'm sure they will, but until the Charles Johnsons and the Ricketts and the Bob Nuttings of the world are out of the baseball landscape, they can only do so much. Just to clarify though, if I haven't made it obvious enough, I do think either a cap or a floor should be implemented. The Dodgers recently played the Reds in the 2025 NL Wildcard Round, a series which the Dodgers comfortably won. And them winning makes a whole lot more sense when you consider their top paid player, Shohei Ohtani, is currently being paid more by the Dodgers than the majority owner of the Reds, Bob Castellini, is worth. Now, if this seems unfair, it's because it is, and anybody saying that your team should spend more money then doesn't know what they're talking about. Not every team can spend like the Dodgers and the Yankees, and to reiterate, that's why teams like the Giants, Red Sox, Cubs, and Tigers are so frustrating, because they're the only teams in the league that phrase actually applies to. They're the teams that you look at and say, wow, yeah, it really is a skill issue. They have the money and they just don't spend it. All this is not to say that the Giants won't do anything. They might swing a trade, or maybe these reports are false. Who really knows? But if they're not, it's going to be really tough for Giants fans to hear this. I'll also point out, as previously mentioned, that there are teams who are probably worse than the Giants when it comes to not caring about winning, but this specific scenario perfectly describes my biggest complaint with baseball right now. The guy says he wants to take down the mighty Dodgers, your rival, and you play poor. Unless he'd cost you $50 million a year, that excuse isn't going to work on me. Well, I guess looking at Cease's contract, maybe it would. Thank you everybody so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. If you liked the video and you want to see more, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I post baseball content like this all the time. And make sure to check out some of my other videos as well. I do some trending topics like guys signing. I also do some more informative videos just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.